Welcome to the Executorium Podcast. I'm Bill Gross at Bill Gross Probate on social media. And we get together and help trust administrators, executors, navigate through the waters of how do they find the best vendors to assist them, to teach them, educate them, and share with them the path from where they are to where they want to go. One of the people I've had the privilege of working with for years now, we've done some business together, is Randy Milmeister out of Las Vegas, Nevada. He's a real estate agent. Say hi, Randy.
Hey, everybody out there.
And Randy is on Executorium. Now, again, for those of you obviously who are on Executorium regularly, you know what it's about, but those who are not, executorium.com is a website that services executors of estates and trusts, helps you find your way through all kinds of great resources, providers, government directory, articles, and information. If you go in here and search under Clark County, Nevada, and you put Show County, one of the people pops up is Randy, and there's his listing. So one way to find great vendors is through that. So Randy, let's talk a little bit about your services, particularly to trust administrators. How do you help them? What's unique about their problems, and how do you help them with those problems?
Yeah, Bill, everyone, every family, every estate might have some different issues that they need help with. I'll give you a couple examples, and this just happened in the last couple of weeks. An out-of-state administrator, a family member was not going to leave the house here in Las Vegas. They worked on the eviction for 6 months. Obviously, the administrator's out of town. The attorney, it's not worth them. They're not going to go meet a constable for an eviction. So they asked me to do it. And that's something that I offer to save both the family and the attorney time, energy, and money overall, because you're not going to pay an attorney $300 an hour to go sit in front of a house waiting for a constable and wait for the locks to be changed and the people to be removed. I have another lady who's here in town now. This is a trust, but it's probate estate related. Dad was in an accident. He'll need to go to assisted living now. They won't let him out of the hospital unless he goes directly to where he can get 24-hour care. So she's here. She's from out of state. She's from Michigan. She doesn't have any resources or contacts. She was referred to me by the nursing advocate or the healthcare advocate, and I've been able to help her. She needed boxes to pack. She doesn't know how to. She needed some assistance in how to organize. What items are we going to keep for him? What can be donated? How do we throw everything away that is neither donatable and he's not going to keep? So I've been spending a lot of time with her this week. She's leaving Wednesday. We need to get everything done, or as much as we can done before she leaves. But ultimately, sitting down with her, I've had a lot of time with her the last few days. It's overwhelming. I mean, even with the time I was sitting there, Bill, and we're going through, we're talking about the house. We're talking about, when the trash service is going to come for bulk items, and she's getting phone calls from the hospital, and they're telling her, the doctor says he needs to stay another day. And I could just sense the overwhelm. I mean, imagine being in a city you're not familiar with necessarily. You're visiting. You're all alone. These families need help, and I'm glad. I mean, it becomes an honor that I'm able to step or come alongside of them and kind of walk through this process together.
I think the thing that you hit on, the word you used, was overwhelm. And I think for people who are in this, and the reason why this website, Executorium, this service was created, was the founder himself was in it, found it overwhelming. Everybody's busy, and then you have this extra work. Somebody passes or somebody's ill, and you just swing into action. And there's a lot of individual actions, none of which are that complicated, but on top of your regular life becomes difficult. And I think for you, as a very active, successful real estate agent in Nevada and Las Vegas already, you've worked through a lot of these vendors already. So for you, you're calling back somebody you've talked to a little bit before versus somebody who's new, starting with a directory is a challenge. So talk a little bit about the Randy Rolodex. If I'm an executor and have a property in Nevada, or maybe just other issues regarding the trust, what are some of the types of things? You mentioned clean out services. You mentioned, I think, lockout services. But what? Kind of give me the full range if you can, or the broader range of the types of things you've done before on behalf of clients, rather than just selling the real estate.
Sure. Well, what's interesting, and this is, I mean, our timing couldn't be better. I actually was on the Executorium website yesterday looking for a company to donate, like I said, for this lady who's in town right now, because it's been 3 or 4 months since I needed that service, and I couldn't remember. So I had to go back to Executorium, who I had sent, who I've been using for years, of who will come out and pick up, because a lot of the nonprofits, the donation places, especially since COVID, they won't come out to a house. You have to go drop everything off.
Right.
And so I couldn't remember. I had to go to Executorium to find the company, the donation company, nonprofit, who will come out and pick up larger items like couch and chairs. But some other ones. So
Okay,
yeah,
hold on. Give them a plug. They're on the website. Who was the company? Who's the
It was
organization?
Las Vegas Rescue Mission.
Great. And so let's just, since we're in the neighborhood. So again, this is the whole point of how this works. Here's Las Vegas Rescue Mission. If you were on the Clark County, and there's different donations, they're all a little different. Now you might call Randy because he's worked with 5 or 6 of them. But again, if you want the information, you're going to get their phone number, their website, where they're located, and that's the power of the service. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
No, that was perfect. It was just like, it was how interesting that we had this schedule today, and I was just on there yesterday because I needed the service for this lady. But yeah, so a lot of times attorneys will ask me for a locksmith. They'll ask for an appraiser who not only can do a current appraisal, but a date of death. Date of death from the time a decedent has passed away till the time they're actually dealing with the real estate can be 1.5 years, 2 years. So they need that. One of the attorneys asked me for a referral for that last week. And then I have some handyman and contractors. Clean out is one of the most common. A lot of these houses, I have one. I have a new listing. Man, this is another one.
This is what we want to talk about. Once you start laughing about it, that's the one we all want to hear about. Go ahead.
It's 2 acres, and I don't know if anyone can picture in their heads. Imagine 40 years of hoarding. So these folks had a double wide 1,440 square foot, manufactured home. They bought another manufactured home, it's 770, like a single wide. You can't even open the door to the single wide. I mean, it's filled to the brim. You can't. I mean, you cannot step in. You can pull the door out and look around. And the administrator, he told me last week, because we just listed the property. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. I wish I could have done more. And it's like I was overwhelmed just looking at it. I mean, there's so much, and I always share with anyone I can that it's almost like I wish we knew our last 5 years of life, because we could start giving away or selling this stuff, because there's probably some items of value on this property that could be sold if someone was here or someone was managing it. But again, this administrator is from Texas. They didn't necessarily need the services because he just can't handle it. There's so much stuff, it's just going to have to be thrown out. So that's unfortunate. But we have a handyman. A lot of times, what I'll find in some older, or I guess seniors, as they live their life, at some point, it seems like they not all of them, but some of them really just stop caring for the house, or maybe they're just not looking under the sink anymore. And so what I'll find,
or they're older and it's harder, and they move less, and they bend less.
They stop looking under the kitchen sink. They stop looking under the bathroom sink. Right. And so a lot of times we'll find, there've probably been leaks for years, and we'll find mold. So I'll need to have a contractor, plumber, come out, and we want to fix that. If there's items that we can fix and increase the value of the estate as we go to sell, without going too deep in our pockets, then we want to take care of those kinds of things. We obviously, it could cost, let's say $300, $400, $500 to repair a plumbing leak and clean out the mold and replace the bottom of the cabinet. But if for a buyer walking into a house, they're going to want a $10,000 discount. So those are some things that are really important to, in the end, get the most money for the estate.
Now, you and I are colleagues, right? We're both in the same business. We've known each other quite a while, and we speak kind of frankly to each other.
Yep.
And I've helped organize this podcast. So one of the things I'm encouraging all my colleagues, particularly those out of my area, is to reach out to your good vendors, the ones that are like-minded, get them on the directory. Now, I understand that's hard work, but at the end of the day, talk about the value of working with like-minded vendors versus just randomly calling people. I know as a realtor, sometimes you have to just put up with whoever you can get. Maybe it's a remote area. Maybe you're calling out in North Vegas or Henderson or some other more remote area, and you can only get what you can get in those areas. But talk about the difference between that and working with somebody who's kind of like-minded to you.
Yeah. So fortunately, after having done this probate real estate stuff for a few years, when I call, a contractor or a handyman or the cleanout crew, they know what it is. They know what they're dealing with. They know most of the time it's going to be a probate. The property is going to be in maybe some disrepair. The owner's not going to be here. They're going to have to coordinate with me to get access. So it now that we're all on the same page, so I don't have to explain the scenario. It's a lot easier.
Yeah, I think that's the key. And I think anybody in this, if you can get a team of people to help and delegate to that you can trust and coordinate. And as I tell people, in my area, now everybody's a little different. I don't charge for other than selling houses, meaning I'll coordinate with vendors, I'll coordinate with cleanup companies, donation companies. I have a team of people in my area in LA where I'm at. I don't charge per hour. I don't charge for the service. That's part of the value of working. There are people in other areas they do charge, and in some cases they kind of have to. They're in a more remote area. There's more driving involved. There's more vetting involved, or more supervision involved. But the key is to have somebody you can delegate to, who you can trust and work with on this stuff. And Randy, I know you've been around a while, and when we search on the website under probate real estate agents, you pop to the top of the list. That's earned because you have success as well as trust with your customers built over years.
Right. Yeah. And that's something that's so important. And you talk about the trust and what people will find online and online, maybe we're talking about reviews. A couple months ago, I sold a house. I never met the administrator. She's in I don't know, Phoenix or Tucson. She's pregnant, so she couldn't come out here after, dad passed. So I handled everything. Again, I met the locksmith. I helped get the property cleaned out. And then at the end, and it was so interesting because I didn't feel like I did that much for her. I didn't feel like I felt I did what I needed to do to help her and, the attorney move the probate process forward, getting the house sold. But at the end, she said that, she was so grateful. And she actually said, you and the attorney were like family to me. And I was like, that is, there's not real, I can't think of any other real estate source of business where people are really appreciative of having someone walk alongside them.
Yeah, and I think you and I both raised our hands saying we're willing to help those families. I think there are people who are really focused on commissions and dollars and transactions. And I know you and I also have had some of the same coaching in our career because we go back together. And if you go back, I think even further, one of the original coaches was Zig Ziglar. You can have everything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. And so by offering to help out, that's why I do this podcast. That's why I interview people like you and Randy. That's why you and I got along is, you come from first helping people. I know I referred you one deal one time. I think you went to see the house and was, burned down to the studs. And yet that helped me with the attorney and the executor because they thought it was worth $400,000 and it was worth $200,000 and they're upside down. So that comes from being service first, and I appreciate you do that. If somebody wanted to get a hold of you to talk to you more, obviously the Executorium directory, you're there listed with all your contact information. Just as we have here, what's the best way to get a hold of you if you have questions?
I'm easy to find. Just my name, Randy Milmeister. I'm the only one on the planet, I believe. If someone Googles that, they're going to find my probate website. Thanks to you and your other partners who have helped develop those kinds of websites. I have a YouTube channel and then the Google business page.
Fantastic. Well, look, I appreciate obviously working with you, and we've worked together for time and done some of this type of work before. Really appreciate your time together, helping support the Executorium group and population and making that service more effective for all of us.
Absolutely. And it's a great platform, Executorium, that really consolidates all of the different team members that we need to help families.
Fantastic. And for those of you watching still, again, the executorium.com is the website, executorium.com. You have a whole directory of providers where you'll find me and Randy. You'll find a directory of government resources, which is helpful if you need to file papers and such. Other interesting articles and learning information and resources to help you be more effective. I'm Bill Gross, at Bill Gross Probate. Thank you for your time today and look forward to speaking to you soon.